Yep, it's that time again. Real Estate Jerky live on a Thursday at 11 a.m. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great, Ed. How are you?
You know, it's a lovely day. We're still alive. I haven't shaved since Cancun. What
Nice.
the heck? I asked my wife. I walked out. Should I shave? She's like, nah, keep it. I'm okay because we're going to Vegas next week. So
There you go.
got to get nothing like 115-degree weather to go to.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah,
And you're in
I'm just
Modesto
giving.
at 100 degrees and you're going to Vegas. What's up with that?
Well, it's supposed to be 108, isn't it, or 109 coming up?
Yeah, I think by the weekend, but
Yeah.
you know how that is. It always changes. So
Yeah, well, what the heck? What's the difference between 108 and 115?
yeah, it's still just terrible.
Especially when you're inside all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
AC.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about the housing market and let's talk about interest rates and what the Fed has done. Because a lot of people don't realize. So I'm just going to go with a little thing right here. Fed watch, right? We're watching what the Fed's going to do. Well, the biggest thing that came out this week with the Fed is, all right, so there's dovish and hawks, basically how they look at things differently. They're still buying mortgage-backed securities, and this is going to get a little confusing here. So what a lot of people don't know is the reason our interest rates are kept lower than they normally are is how much the actual Fed, and this is the government, is buying mortgage-backed securities. And mortgage-backed securities are the Fannie Freddie loans that we do, VA, FHA. They're buying all that, and where other countries would be buying it, our government's buying it, and that's how it's keeping the rates low. They actually stated that they're going to start thinking about tapering their purchasing of that over the next, couple of years. And that actually set the bond market to terror yesterday. Rates got worse and it's coming back today, but it's just one of those things. So that, and a lot of people don't realize that interest rates are based off of, a lot of different things, not just the fact that, oh, here's the interest rate. Well, it changes constantly throughout the day. You know this because you've been in the business long enough, but
I am aware.
yeah. And so, like yesterday when, we lost a half probably, overall we lost 50 basis points, which worked out to probably be around a quarter in interest rate, which is not that big of a deal when you're at 3%. But if it keeps happening, next thing you know, we're at 4%, so,
which is still
I know,
good rate. So
excellent rate. I mean,
yes, I know.
I did a live yesterday about, debt service loans, what it has to do with where you just look at it's an investment property. You look at what the actual lease payment is or rent payment versus the mortgage, and you figure the debt service, kind of like they do commercial loans, right? When they're doing apartment complexes, that kind of stuff. What's the debt service? Is it worth it? Kind of stuff. Well, now you can do it on investment property, and it has nothing to do with you. Well, rate was 5.75, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. Well, most of these flippers who flipped homes over the last so many years, who still have them, did it with private money. Private money is like 10% to 12%. So for the 5% for them, actually, I have one right now I'm doing, it's only 4 something on a bank statement. And it's like, so it's rates are all, relative. We've been here long enough.
Yep.
The other thing they stated differently this week is, which is a first time different than other time, is that they think they're actually going to start. So they think inflation's transitory, and they think it's going to the core rate's going to go up to like 3%, but then next year go back down to 2%. But they don't know for a fact. The biggest thing, I got 2 more things, and then we'll jump into the housing. They actually think, this is major difference. Fed stated this week they're going to see two rate hikes by the end of 2023. And how is that different than the last time they spoke? They didn't see anything until 2024. So they're seeing stuff now that we haven't saw before, but jobless claims came in, all that other stuff is just normal. It's all affecting us because of the fact that people still have that other money until September. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah. Continuing claims actually, I think, went unchanged. So we're still where we were. All right. So let's get into the market, housing market. So first thing I want to bring up, if you're good with it, is the overall inventory of homes last 12 months. This is nationwide.
Yes.
In April, let me get over here where I'm on the screen. In April, it's 2.4, which, and what this is by month, right? It says they have average inventory of 2.4 months, correct?
Yep.
All right. So that's where this is. I'm going to do one more chart and then I'm going to bring it local. Okay. So let's talk about where the increases of, appreciation of houses in the United States. And basically the Pacific was 14.3, Mountain is 15.7. So that tells you, we talked about this before the show about how we know that a lot of people we know are moving to Nevada or Idaho, right?
Correct.
Anything you want to add here? It's
Well,
just not me talking.
Well, no, that's what I'm personally seeing. And also
Right.
based on taxes, it drives people there. So, and that's consistent with what these numbers look like.
Right. So let's go to our local stuff. So I'm going to end this show here. There we go. Can you see that? Wow, it's bright on my side. All right. So this, I said it's bright on my side.
Yeah.
Because I got all these screens on my face. All right. So as of May, this is a chart you gave me. You want to talk to me about it? So right here, this is where we're at.
Yeah. So we're 0.7 months of inventory. And for the layman, what that means, basically, if nothing else entered the market, it would take us 0.7 of a month to sell everything at the current rate. So
about 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks. And again, this would be, this is really low. I think a healthy market, we want 3 or 4 months of inventory.
Right.
And so if you look back a year, even at 2.1 months, that's still low. And when I look at that, when I compare it to last month, it's increased, obviously. And look at the numbers, it's 39.5% increase over month, but relative over the year, it's still 50% down. So we're still in a tight inventory market, which is what we're seeing out there as realtors. This is obvious to all of us.
Right. What this is basically saying it's definitely a seller's market.
Correct.
When you have 6 months inventory, then it's a balanced market. It's not a seller or a buyer's market. When you have more than 6 months, then it becomes a buyer's market. We're still in the seller. And I think one of the biggest issues is February of last year, right? We had 2.1 months, which meant a lot of people weren't shopping for homes during that period of time because of COVID. It was so much more difficult to see a house, get into a house. And now, I mean, I have a chart that shows, and I think the last time you were on, that shows we're at half the volume that we were at during COVID time. That tells you how small the market is right now.
And those with June 15th release of the COVID restrictions, that'll make it easier for everybody to go look at homes. It'll make it easier for the buyers to not have to do the paperwork and glove up and mask up. And the sellers will probably be a little bit more comfortable having strangers in their house now that we've lifted all these restrictions.
Anything you want to talk about here?
As far as the stats, that's just a breakdown of those numbers. So
right.
No, not really.
Okay. All right. Then what else do you want to go to? You know, about what other chart?
We can go to that, the for sale versus solds. And that's again, you can see that the pendings are going up. Things are selling quickly. Actually, the days on the market's a good one. Again, if you're in the market trying to buy and a new house comes on the market and you want to wait a couple of days before you go look at it, you realize that days on the market is shrinking. And there you can see 14 days average right there.
Is that 14 days on the market before an offer is accepted, or 14 days on the market total?
Actually, let me read here real quick. Continuous days on the market is 14. Yeah, that's
I was trying to see.
Yeah, it's gone down. It says 12.5% for the last month, 46% for last year. So again, a year ago it was it's gotten 50% worse, so or 50% shorter. So you figure 21 days a year ago, and 21 days is that's plenty of time. But 2 weeks, that number actually looks high to me because it feels like the homes that show well that are priced right, I still see them going pending in under a week. So
I'm sorry, I'm looking at other stuff while you're talking. I apologize.
No, you're all
right. I'm one of those guys that goes ahead. Yeah. So I think this is continuing days on the market right now. So this is total days. It tells you how fast things are moving.
Yeah, that's an average cumulative days on the market is what that is.
Yeah. So and this is a 51% change versus March of 2020. So of 21. Ago. Yeah. That's a huge difference. Half the amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're out shopping, be pre-approved, be ready to go. When you see something come on the market, contact your agent. Go out there ASAP. Because again, when you're on the listing side, that first person that comes through and when you see them being motivated, they run over there, they go through the house real quick and get you an offer real quick. That's a motivated buyer, and so that might be the buyer you want to go with versus leave it on the market for a week or 10 days to let it sit out there for a while. Then you got a couple of people few more people coming in, and then you get some offers at the end, you might want that motivated person, because that motivated person has probably been beat out a few times, and now they're trying to be aggressive and write a good offer, get it to you ASAP, and so they're doing everything possible to get into contract. And that's the kind of buyer you want. You want a buyer that's going to get in contract and close, versus writing offers and backing out. So,
yeah, and I came across this. I'm gonna throw it up here real quick. Buyer fatigue. Buyers are frustrated right now that they can't find homes or have been outbid or whatever the case may be. Their offer may be declining because of all cash offers. So, and then we're talking about the inventory, and it's so important, because that's how come these things are happening. Is there's hardly any inventory. I was talking to yesterday a guy from Frisco, Texas, and he was telling me that because they've been slammed because of people leaving from California and other higher priced places, right? And they're saying that they're starting to see more properties come on the market. So,
yeah. And again, we're seeing the same thing. It's happening slowly. I think next month it'll be even higher numbers. The numbers will look better. So it'll start to get balanced out. But again, it's going back to the fatigue thing. I would tell you, if you're a buyer, just hang in there, because as other people get fatigued and pull out of the market, it's just going to improve your position. So you just got to stick with it. And like I said, if you see something you like, don't wait a day or two. Get out there as soon as you can. Get in, make a decision, write a clean offer, submit, and cross your fingers.
Right. And so I think that this is a easy, short little market update. But one thing I want to throw up before we go, unless there's something else you want to add,
go ahead.
This right here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not a bubble.
Yeah. And why is this not 2008? Because lenders aren't going out of business. We don't, everybody has equity, right? Everybody, we 4 trillion people we refinanced last year, $4 trillion worth of mortgages in the 2s, low 3s, depending on the program, of course. And they have, average home right now, I don't know if I have that chart, but it was like 40 to 50% equity in their house. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's not the chart, but anyway, let me get out. This is the house forecast. We'll just leave that for now. So basically, everybody's saying things are going up nationwide still, but I think hopefully with more inventory, we won't go as 15%. We won't do that, the state thing, because the problem with this is we can't do it forever. Because if you do, then people can't afford. It becomes unaffordable. It's still though today, everything is more affordable still with interest rates where they're at. When interest rates start rising in 2 years from now or a year and a half from now, things will get much more unaffordable. But we're still way affordable. If you look back to when 2008 and 2007, the factor was so much higher of unaffordability than it is now. So.
And Ed, too, as those rates go up and it becomes, the affordability reduces, those prices are going to probably come down too, just to balance that out. That's what we normally see, correct?
Right. They just won't appreciate as fast. That's the thing, is we can't keep doing 15% a year. I mean, we can.
No. It's nice, but it's not realistic.
Right. And I saw an article yesterday, and I didn't bring it. I'm sorry. But I was talking about that. Oh, that was the thing I'm talking about with NAR, right? That whole thing that brought this up. NAR had an article that said that we're 5.5 million homes short right now, right? But remember that chart you were on the last time, and it showed that we only built 2.7 million homes during that 10-year period. Normally we do 27 million.
Right.
How are we only 5.5 million low?
Yeah,
that's what I don't get, right?
That rate, so.
And they actually NAR stated that we would have to build an additional 700,000 homes per year for the next 10 years on top of the ones we have to do on a regular basis to keep up, plus 700,000 more each year in order to get caught up for the next 10 years. So what does that No. So what does that tell you? That tells us that we're going to have this type of appreciation for a while. We're not going to have a bubble. We might have interest rates that go up and slow things down a little bit, which is, and I'm not talking slow, slow, 5%, 7%,
which is still healthy. Yeah.
A healthy market, during our downturn, the healthy market was still 4 to 5% appreciation over time. Yeah. That's all you need. You don't need 15%. You don't need this. I mean, the positive thing for Californians and other places is that now you can take that appreciation and go buy something else if you want to leave the state.
Yep. Move out.
And if you're gonna move out, Mike would like to list your house for you.
There you go. That's fun.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I'm gonna see. I'm trying to find the chart there. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do one last chart. I know I say this all the time. Let me bring it in.
What you got?
This is the affordability.
Oh, okay.
All right. This is affordability, and then you see the housing affordability per, so right now we're at 174, which is the best. The years that was distressed, right? These years right here, right? That's when houses were, they were selling houses in Modesto for 25 grand in the airport district. They were selling them for 120, 150, 100, 200 down in San Bernardino. They were getting rid of them for the same thing. I mean, these were all REO houses during this period of time. Look at the affordability factor, 197, because those things were so cheap. Well, rates were higher back then.
Yeah.
Right. They were 4.5%. They were 4 to 5%. What? 4 to 5%? Seems like a ridiculous amount of interest. But if you look at the affordability, so 176 was in 2013, and we're at 174.
We're right there.
With the appreciation that's going on. So the affordability hasn't been this high in a very long time. I mean, if you go back in time, look, even back from 1990 all the way through there, it's nowhere closer. We're more affordable now than we were most of the time in history. And the issue now is affordability is here. It's because of interest rates.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with house values are going to appreciate. When interest rates go up, that's when you're going to have less affordability.
Correct.
And you need to if you're thinking about buying a house, if you're thinking about buying that second home somewhere, you need to do it now so you can afford it, because maybe in 2 years from now, rates go up and you won't be able to afford it as well.
Yeah, we won't know what'll happen. As the rates go up, that's a given. It'll become less affordable. But if prices don't drop down, then you can be priced out of the market. So,
yeah. But look at this.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, look at that.
Sorry. We went from affordability of buying a house, right? More affordable to own a home right now. Look at rents. It is the worst time to rent a house.
I got 2 emails this week for people looking for rentals.
Yeah, that you should ask them if you. I have property managers up in Tuolumne County, and they tell the person, you know what, it's harder to rent right now than it is to buy. So let's run your numbers and see what you can do.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing out there, and the prices. When you look at what rent goes for, and then what the mortgage payment would be, it's a good clue to get your credit in order so you can qualify for a mortgage. And why pay rent?
Right. And we're not trying to take the rent from people, but from, landlords, but a lot of landlords are saying I'm done with it anyway, because I haven't gotten any rent. So I'm going to sell this property anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
honestly, it's a great time to buy, a great time to sell. If you're a property owner with some rentals, if you're waiting for the market to go up to sell, I mean, what are you waiting for? This is a perfect time to put your rental on the market to sell.
Look at this. 17.8 million homes have at least 50% equity right now.
Wow. That's good.
That tells you we're not going to go into a bubble.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So stop waiting. Get in. If you're thinking about buying a home, contact myself, contact Mike. You can reach me through Facebook, direct message me. You can do the same for Mike. You can find me everywhere, actually, these days. Just Google Ed Parcaut and you won't miss me.
Yeah, if you have 50% equity, you're not going to default on your mortgage.
No, and that was right. And that's most of the forbearances are not going to, even if they were behind in a foreclosure, they could sell the property and still make money and go do something else, right?
It's crazy because during this whole pandemic, everything's appreciated. So if you did get behind, literally at the end of it, your house is worth more money.
Right.
Worst case scenario, if you sold it, you're okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's never have been in a better time in our history to try to buy a home than now. We just showed it. Yeah. So stop, get off the fence, contact us, contact somebody to help you get through the process. If you're not buying here in California, we can refer you to somebody in another state. So that way you're taken care of. I referred out 5 different transactions last week to other states, for mortgages, which kind of hurt, but
it's all right.
I used to be approved in 47 different states, but now it's like I did so much in California. It's, a third of all mortgages are done in California. So, I was like, why do I need other states? Well, now I know why, just to help your clients. So,
okay.
All right. Anything else you want to add today, Mike, before we go?
No, I'm good. I mean, if going back to when we talked last time, as far as being a buyer and being a seller, be patient, write a clean offer. And if you're a seller, don't get, just because it's a seller's market right now, you still have to price it correctly. Because I still see properties periodically to come on the market. I look at the price, I just shake my head. And, if you price it wrong, it's going to sit. And then as it sits and people realize it's overpriced, you're not necessarily going to get good offers. So do your homework, price it right, get it in the contract and close the deal.
Right. Because one of the things that people don't understand is people will not write an offer underneath what the asking price is. They don't want to offend the seller. Most people, because a lot of sellers, I'm going to put it out there and then someone can just write me an offer and I'll see if I'll accept it. Most people won't do that. So.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. It's funny because you think, well, as a seller, you're thinking, well, they can come in lower. But if you're a buyer and you've written 5 offers and you've gotten beat out, you don't really want to come in and lowball somebody, even if it was okay with the seller, because it hasn't been working for you. So it's like you look at that number, you go, that's out of my price range. I'm not even going to bother because you're assuming somebody else is going to come in full price. And if it's over your budget, so you've got a whole pool of people that aren't even going to bother to look at your property because you priced it too high. So the best thing you can do is price it as close to market value as possible so that when the agents look at it, it makes sense. And when a buyer looks at it and they've been compared to other properties priced similar, it makes sense. So it's like, hey, let's go look at this. It looks like it's priced fair. And if it looks like a good value, they may just round up and come in aggressive, go over asking price, and then you get your offer accepted. So.
Because every buyer's heard how they have to write over asking and in order to get the property for the last 6 months to a year. And now you're going to ask them to write an offer underneath the value that you put that out. No, put it at value or below value a little bit. Just get it sold.
As a seller, it's always hard to purposely price your property under what you think it's really worth because you feel like you're giving it away. But that's where the listing agent has to talk with the seller and come up with a strategy and say, listen, I think your house is worth $450. Let's come in at $445. It's $5,000, and at that just $5,000 under, you're gonna get more people coming to the house, and if more buyers come through, there's a chance of more offers. So whenever you go to accept the offer, you're probably going to have a backup offer. It's a good chance that's going to get bid up anyway. And it's, as a seller, it feels good to accept an offer and have a strong backup offer. So if something starts to go sideways with the current deal, you can reach out to the backup offer, see if they're still interested. It gives the seller strength in their negotiations.
Right. Because a lot of people don't realize if the first offer falls out, sometimes your next offer is going to be you're going to take possibly less for your property than you would have for
It's possible. But if you have backup offers, what you do is you just contact those backup offers and say, hey, this is what we have. Can you match it? You may go right into contract without going back on the MLS.
Right.
And the seller's happy to do it because you've been able to go back to that other buyer and tell them the terms that you maybe previously accepted or that you need. And if they can match that, and if those terms are agreeable, they agree. And so on the MLS, that property never came back on the market. It shows pending for, let's say it looks like a long escrow, but what it really was 2 transactions during that period.
Right.
So
they can always call me. We can close it in 9 days. So
there you go. And that's important too for your buyer's agent to stay in contract. When you submit those offers out there and you get beat out, but you really like the property, encourage your agent to stay in contact with that listing agent and confirm, hey, listen, we're still interested. If something goes sideways, reach out to us. And if that listing agent knows that, as soon as it goes sideways, and you're not expecting it to go sideways, but when it does, you go, oh, you know what? Let me contact that agent and see if they're still interested. And I tell you what, when you make that phone call and they're still looking, that's a motivated buyer because they got beat out once on that property and you're giving them a second bite at the apple. That's a good buyer to have because they don't want it to fall out either. So make sure your buyer's agent's talking with the listing agents.
There you go. Cool. Drop the mic.
Done.
Mike, drop the mic.
There you go.
All right, Mike, I appreciate you coming on today, help me out with the market update and the housing market update. Really appreciate it. If you guys if you have any questions for me, you can reach me through, like I said, direct message through Facebook, or you can call me direct at 209-404-1915. Mike, what's your phone number? 209-985-0100.
Correct. Nice, easy number to remember. Call me anytime.
985-0100. And even if you're leaving the state and you need help, call us. We'll help you find the right person so you're not taken advantage of in other states.
There you go. Happy to do it.
Right.
Thanks,
Stay
Ed.
there, Mike. All right, Mike, stay right there. And everybody else, thanks for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And have a great day.